So my proposed tax would be set in at a rate that would not allow any deductions whatsoever. The natural gas companies would have to do what other people in business do, and that's figure the cost of doing the things they've been paid to do as a cost of doing business. They get a tax deduction for them. It's not like they're having to do it out of their own pockets. But we're not going to let them double dip by us turning around and paying them back and giving them a refund and lowering the amount of taxes they pay for severance tax. So again, it'll be 7% across the board. All gas will be treated equally. If they find that wells aren't productive at 7%, the natural thing to do is like a little store or a little company that's not making enough money to stay in business, close a single well down. That's what they should do. They'll pump a well to keep it going because it qualifies under the low old tax rate, and they're essentially making money just by keeping it alive, even though it's on life support. So what we'll do is say, let's go to a realistic basis of accounting. You've got to decide whether a well is worth producing or not, and I can assure you, just looking at volumetric figures, they're going to do okay. The big players have continued to declare larger income each quarter. Now, they'll have quarters where they fall off, but you've got to remember they're comparing them to years before where they started off low, came higher, 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 and if they have a minor drop, they say, well, income went down. It didn't go down. It went down compared to the previous year, which was most likely a record year. So what you got to do, again, is look through this situation to determine what is really fair. And again, looking at Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Texas, 7% is fair, and that's what we'll be seeking. It will take us time to put together a coalition. I'm already working on that, and I have some major players that I'm meeting with over the next few days to try to get their support. It will take time to educate the public, to get them ready for this, because it's going to be a major cause, a cost lever really for the gas companies. You can call it greed, or you can just call it taking care of business. They're going to fight us, tooth and toenail. Now, one thing to our advantage there, we did get the Ethics Commission to approve our interpretation of the law to say that a corporation is the same as an individual in giving to campaigns such as this. So our opposition will have to declare who's putting up the money. I've been asked two things. They said, well, what do you think the legislature will say? I hope the legislature steps up and takes a responsible position and looks at the figures, and I'll provide them everything I've got, and looks at the environment, looks at the idea of this being a tax that would not be paid by Arkansans, only a small percentage would be. The vast majority would be paid by the first purchaser buying the gas at the wellhead to take it out of state. That's one thing that I hope they'll look at it, because they're certainly, in my opinion, not going to be able to sell the people of the state on a half-cent sales tax plus the other taxes that have been proposed. You keep hearing, and back in 2008, I never will forget that at least one of the presidents of one of the two major companies stood up and threw out what I guess was a veiled threat that they could leave if we got too unfair with them in severance tax. Well, first of all, they're paying it down in the other 3 states, so it's not going to be unfair. But secondly, and more importantly, let me tell you, the Fayetteville Shale has attracted new players. ExxonMobil, which is one of the biggest countries in the world, has come in and spent $41 billion to buy out TXO. They also went on another little buying spree and bought another gas company in the same area for $650 million. So they've shown that much interest. And by the way, buying TXO made ExxonMobil the largest natural gas producer in the country to match up with their standing as an oil company. So there are going to be people that want to participate. If somebody wants to back out because of what the severance tax is, they'll have that option, because there are people standing in line ready to take those properties and drill. This is not really government being greedy. In fact, this is government being fair to the people of the state of Arkansas. If we don't do it, we're, first of all, tearing up part of the countryside up there, and there will be damages that remain when they're gone. We are getting something for a short period of time that seems like a boon to us, because it is pouring some money into the area. But you can go up in that area, as I have, in preparing for this, and I started again back in October, and talk to the people, and you'll find as many negative as you do positive or more. You get on the roads and right up there, fight the big trucks going up and down the roads, and you know there's a problem. But again, it's very critical to point out to the people of Arkansas, the vast majority of this money will be paid for by the gas companies, the interstate companies that make the first purchase, or their customers over on the East Coast. This will not affect the people of Arkansas except on a minor basis, and those are in specific parts of the state where they get their gas. The severance taxes are the most fair taxes you can have, because you do not pay them. The company does not pay them unless they have production. In other words, when they have a dry well, they don't pay any severance tax whatsoever. There's not a penny of severance tax paid until gas is physically removed from the well, and that's when it hits the market value aspect, and that's where we get our money. I would point out, again, a very important issue, is they have made profits all this time. You look back at what these companies have done in the state of Arkansas, they made tremendous profits. So it's not like they're going hungry because of Fayetteville Shell. They've made a lot of money, and most of them, including Chesapeake, have given the credit for their increased earnings to the Fayetteville Shell.